Salutations, I am called Algernon Q. Whipplebottom. It is with great reverence that I serve as your guide on this telegenic offering, which aims to celebrate that most significant of mankind's achievements, the child's plaything, colloquially known as the toy. Over my many years, I have enjoyed a thirst for these whimsical artifacts of joy. Indeed, I have acquired a great number of their exemplar. I wish merely to share my great affection. Join me, won't you, on our journey as I have the vintage pleasure of introducing our next exhibit. I give you Wave 1 of Star Wars from Kenner's 3 3/4 inch line, 1977. In what I believe is Wave 1. It was not my intention to return to Star Wars so quickly after the holidays brought you 5 new episodes of Toys for Algernon. However, as the disclaimer Jorowick left the beginning of this chapter indicates, we have lost access to our studio due to health and safety regulations. It's okay. I wish for everyone to be safe and healthy. We will make do. Hence this bit of strange format. It's something that I did want to do. I have an extensive Kenner 3 3/4 inch line of Star Wars figures. The originals, the vintage line, the very first of all Star Wars memorabilia. I have a great number of their exemplar, and perhaps more than any of the others I have or will present in Toys for Algernon. I find these vault me back to childhood more than anything. I grew up in an era in which Star Wars was being released. I was a child when the very first Star Wars movie hit theaters. So, over the next 3 chapters, I will be examining and presenting that of the Kenner 3 3/4 inch line that I already possess, and show you what I yet have to obtain. But there are several questions that must be asked. But before I get to those questions, let's take a look at what I possess. These are the list of what I found, and I found this from rebelscum.com, a very good and informative website for those who are considering diving into their Kenner collection, or perhaps obtaining new examples of these wonderful artifacts of joy. And indeed, I find these perhaps of all that I have, all of these marvelous, marvelous exemplars, the Kenner Star Wars action figures are those I hold closest to my heart. But let's take a look, shall we? R2-D2 is my favorite Star Wars character. Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia Organa, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, Han Solo, C-3PO, Stormtrooper, the Death Squad Commander, or Star Destroyer Commander, I'm not sure exactly which, a Jawa. I have this here is the cloth cape. We all know the original vinyl cape Jawa is one of the more expensive exemplars in this line. And finally, the Sand People, or Tusken Raider, is the only of the original 1977 line, the Tusken Raider, that I don't possess at the moment. So I am going to hopefully be able to obtain him in the near future. Now, the line continued, and this is Star Wars 1978, so this followed the original wave, or this could be considered wave 2 of the figures specific to Star Wars, the very first release, A New Hope, Greedo, Hammerhead, Snaggletooth, Walrus Man, R5-D4, the Death Star Droid, Luke Skywalker, X-Wing Pilot, and the Power Droid. And here again, the Power Droid is the only... I only am missing one, and that's the Power Droid from this first wave. So if I take the entire list of the first wave, or the first two waves of the Kenner Star Wars action figure collection, those specific to Star Wars, I'm only missing the Sand Person, or the Tusken Raider, and the Power Droid, or the Gonk Droid, as he is sometimes referred in some circles. As you can see, it's just why I am so tempted to try and attempt to complete the collection, and why I am presented with this conundrum and what next to do. I've been following a couple of YouTube channels I would like to present probably in the next chapter of what I'm doing research. And I have some questions I must answer for myself. I do believe that so much has changed over the years about this hobby, and I am fortunate enough as a child to be able to have maintained the quality of some of these figures. Of course, you'll see some imperfections in the paint and things like that. But overall, I find that these are still marvelous examples. Marvelous indeed. But some of the questions I may have is how to obtain some of these exemplars of which I have yet to add to my collection. And I will start with the Tusken Raider and the Power Droid to see where I can go from there. But also, I think there's so many more avenues to obtain these marvelous, wonderful artifacts of joy, and eBay is, of course, probably the most popular online auction site in which to obtain these, but Facebook groups as well. And one of the reasons I don't actually have some of these is because I do so enjoy the hunt. I would love to hit up comic shops and toy shops and conventions and stuff to see if I can find it, and the thrill of getting a deal is part of what makes this such a fun hobby to begin with. So, I will proceed to answer some questions, but there's one big question remains. Reproductions of the accessories, which can run pretty expensive, and reproductions of the actual figures themselves. Now, it's probably going to be a much more hot button issue for me as I proceed throughout this string of episodes, particularly with the last wave of Star Wars figures in 1985. And that was following the Return of the Jedi had been premiered 2 years earlier, and so much of that popularity drove the Kenner Star Wars micro collection, or the Kenner Star Wars 3 3/4 inch line. You see, I still have the micro collection on my brain, having presented 4 episodes of that just so recently. But then in 1985, they released what is often referred to as the Final 17, but according to Rebelscum.com, it looks as though it may have come out in 4 separate waves. I'm not sure if that's exactly true. I do, in fact, have a few numbers of these exemplar, and to be quite honest, I'm not exactly sure how it came about, one of them. But, be that as it may, those can run individually several $100s, sort of making it perhaps cost exorbitant in my case, considering that I would like to present a variety of toys on Toys for Algernon, not just stick with the Kenner Star Wars as much as I love them. So I must consider that if the reproduction is very nice, do I mind adding a reproduced figure to my collection? And also there's a bit of a matter that I have a little Mr. Toys for Algernon who likes to bounce around, and he adores the Kenner Star Wars micro collection, and he takes very good care of him, and I'm only too happy to let him play with those toys. I Of course, we're talking about mint-on-card figures and graded figures. I'm just not there yet, as I have a little one who adores playing with these toys, and I must let him play with these toys. These toys are meant to be played with. However, if I were to obtain a Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper outfit, which could run, as I've seen it, upwards of $400, I don't know. Do I want to put a $400 Star Wars figure in the hands of a toddler? I do have my limits, as I understand most of you would agree. So, hopefully, by the next episode, which we will cover the Empire Strikes Back wave of the Kenner Micro Collection figures, perhaps I'll answer some of these questions and I'll let you know what I've decided upon. How about now, before we duck on out for this chapter, I'm going to go ahead and I will now add to the display Greedo, Hammerhead, Snaggletooth, Walrus Man, R5-D4, the Death Star droid, and Luke Skywalker in the X-Wing fighter pilot outfit. Perhaps by the time I get around to the next chapter, Empire Strikes Back, which will come next month, I will have added the Sand Person, the Tusken Raider, and the Power Droid, or the Gonk Droid, as it's sometimes referred. And it would be a good way to kick off that next episode, which would then complete at least the first wave of Star Wars figures from 1977 and 1978. All right. There we have it, folks. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you don't mind. Yes, of course, we are used to a studio with tripods and better lighting, but I hope you will have patience with us over the next couple of episodes as we continue presenting my personal Star Wars 3 3/4 inch line from Kenner. Until then, friends, stay safe, stay healthy, and we shall dim the lights.